There was a famous line. It's a one-liner, but I think it applies. You know, you can do a lot of shows, and you can do them right and well and perfect. And if you mess up, so there's a famous line in television: "You're only as good as your last show." You've probably heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
Yes.
You're only as good as your last show. You screw, especially if it's a major screw up and it's live, and it embarrasses a talent. One of the biggest screw ups I made, I took a show off the air that I was directing before it was over. I mean, that's pretty major. And it was with one of my favorite journalists, Edwin Newman. I worked a lot with Edwin Newman as a stage manager, where I got to know him well. And I was doing an 8H, 5H it was called in those days, which was the operational hub of the network, and this is in the 70s. And I was controlling a movie called Movie 4, which was in many parts with commercial breaks and slides and live announce. I had an announcer in the booth and I was suddenly asked to fire up a studio and direct Edwin Newman in a one-camera studio along with Texas, because some guy was shooting at people from the Texas Tower. And I had a stage manager, and I remember telling them, put it in another studio. Why are you asking me to deal with this? Well, we want to get on the air fast, and you're already on the air. So I did it, but I got confused about something toward the end, and the producers were in back of me. And I had to keep my movie right, too, while I was directing this thing, which wasn't terribly difficult. It was one camera in Texas, but nevertheless, I had to pay attention. And I was telling the TD, roll the patch chain, this, that, change the slides, so that when I got back to the movie, I could continue to resume the movie. And I said, when is this going to be over? They said, it's over, it's over. But they meant it was almost over. So I turned around and saw Newman on it with egg on his face. And I figured it's over. So I cued the TD to take the slide. I cued the announcer to say, this concludes our interrupt, whatever the language was. And I released the channels back to the movie. And the show wasn't concluded yet. He had thrown it to Texas. I didn't hear the cue to go to Texas, so I never cued the TD to switch to Texas. TD rightfully took my instructions. And whatever happened, I thought I was going to be fired over it, but they didn't fire me. And I went to see Newman that night. And I walked into his office. I didn't walk in. I asked for him. He got up out of his chair and came over to me, extended his arm, and told me what a nice man I was for coming in to apologize. He says, you don't owe me any apologies. It's very nice of you to come in. I said, I was confused myself, is what he told me. That's a true story.
That's generous.
He was a nice man. Edwin Newman was a nice man.